I keep hearing people talking about law and order, law and order. They want law and order. Just stop it, okay? The term law and order is a fascist term. It is a racist term. It is used to imply that black people are responsible for all the crimes that happen out there. Law and order is also a term that harkens back to places like Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany had law and order, where the police would just come to your house and kill you. Stalin's Russia, Putin's Russia, Red China, North Korea, and a bunch of other places that none of us want to live in. They talk about law and order. We want to live in a just society, in a fair society. So to talk about law and order without any mention of justice, without any mention of rights, without any mention of any kind of fairness or due process is just insane. And we hear too many politicians really on both sides of the aisle use that language. Cut it out. Law and order is just a scare tactic. Law and order is you can't have a civil society and have law and order. Don't get me wrong. I'm as concerned about violent crime as anybody else is, but we need to have a just process to deal with that. And yeah, that sounds very mamby-pamby or something like that, but we do live in the United States of America, and we're supposed to all embrace the idea that we have a system of laws, that we have a constitution, we have a Bill of Rights, and that applies to everybody. That applies to the street corner hoodlum the same way it applies to Mr. Donald Trump. Everybody deserves their day in court. When you talk about law and order, you're talking about empowering people, the police, to beat people to death, to shoot people, to choke people. That's what law and order harkens to. And that is not what we want. That is not fairness. That is not right. And we can't tolerate that, not even for 1 second, or else we just descend into anarchy. So I support public safety. I support justice. When you read a story in the newspaper, see a story on TV about a crime, understand that report of that crime, that's one side of the story. That's the side of the story the police wrote down. Maybe they told the accurate story. Maybe they told a fair story. Maybe they did not. We know, based on many cases that have been overturned, both in court and on appeal, that a lot of times the account that police give is not an accurate account. Is not, they said Tyree Nichols, who those police beat to death in that street in Memphis, that he was trying to resist arrest. And we know that that's a lie. So cops lie a lot of times. So don't just go by what they say. Have an open mind, because you know what? One day it could be you. So that's why we have law and order, and that's why we have, that's why we have a constitution. And by the way, when we mention constitution, don't give up those constitutional rights. Police come to your house or they stop your car and they ask to search it. The answer has got to be no. If they really have probable cause, they will be able to get a warrant, to do that. If they ask you a question, you invoke your Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself. So please, 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 anybody you hear using that term, law and order, you need to call them on it. You need to tell them that that's a fascist term, that that's a racist term. We have seen politicians use that over and over again, and they're talking about using that against black and brown people. Let us be clear. The crime is a problem in this country. Crime is a problem in this community. But you know what? Black people and white people commit crime at the exact same rates, okay? And black people and white people tend to also commit those crimes within their own communities and within their own racial groups. Yeah, there's some crossover, but it's not as vast as people want to believe that it is. And don't trust me on this. You can Google, look up the facts of their, U.S. Justice Department. You can find that stuff yourself. So don't get suckered in by this stuff, and don't let people continue to use this fascist, racist language, because that's just pushing us further and further into anarchy that I think that we all want to avoid in this country. So please, do not allow people to use that term law and order. That is a fascist term, that is a racist term, and it must be stopped. Thank you.